Speaking of video games, if you haven't played this game, I don't enthusiastically recommend it because this is the most depressing video game I've ever played. But there is something prophetic about the game. What was the name of the game where you play in Dubai? Spec Ops: The Line. This game came out in 2012. I played it when it came out. I played it on the I want to say Xbox 360. This is Spec Ops: The Line. Is the most depressing video game I have ever played, ever. Ever. Like, it is the most depressing game I've ever played. To this day, I have never played a game as depressing as Spec Ops: The Line. In fact, every single game that I have played outside of Spec Ops: The Line hasn't really depressed me. Other than, I would say, Red Dead Redemption, there is a part of the game where you have to kill a cannibal, and it turns out the cannibal ate someone's wife, and that made me, I don't know, that made me feel gloomy. But that was the only time that I felt depressed playing a game outside of playing Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is such a depressing game. Such a depressing game. I felt like I remember I would play that game, and after turning it off, I would feel this sense of gloom within me, a sense of emptiness. It was just nasty. But I finished that game. Very well done game. Very depressing game. I think it's worthy of a cinematic version, a cinematic rendition. But in that game, you play a soldier. It's sort of like, I can tell that they were definitely influenced by Apocalypse Now, because there's definitely an Apocalypse Now vibe in the game. But instead of Vietnam, you are playing in Dubai. And in the game, Dubai has been destroyed. I mean, wiped out, right? The city has been completely flattened. There's very few survivors left. And the only people who are living in Dubai are the civilian population. You have some insurgents who are there, and then you have these American soldiers who have just really gone rogue. And then you have these special forces guys who are there on a mission to really get rid of these rogue soldiers. So very Apocalypse Now influenced. But there is a part in that game that just messed with my head, and to this day it messes with my head when I think about it, because it reminds me of Gaza. There's a part of the game where you're supposed to fire white phosphorus on the enemy. So you're fighting. So most of the time in this game, you're fighting other Americans, because the bad guys in this game are the American soldiers who have gone rogue, and they're controlling Dubai. You have to defeat them in the game. That's your mission. You got to fight them. So you're fighting against these American soldiers who have gone rogue, and you see you're looking at this computer system. There's a part of the game where you're looking at this radar computer system, and you're seeing on the radar these rogue American soldiers gathering around this certain area. And you are told that you have to destroy them. And so you hit a button that makes white phosphorus get launched, and you hit those American rogue soldiers with white phosphorus. So you hit them with white phosphorus, you incinerate these guys, you burn them alive, it's freaking brutal. So then your character goes to the site that was hit by the white phosphorus, and holy shit, guys. You want to talk about traumatizing? You want to talk about horrific imagery? You walk into this site, and you see these Arab civilians incinerated. And the part that really messed with my head, and still messes with my head, is you see this woman with a veil over her head, and she has her child. Her arms are wrapped around her child like that. It's like something out of Pompeii. And you see the child clinging on to its mother, and they're both completely incinerated. And holy, dude, this game came out in 2012, and I was playing it in 2012. And just that moment made me question everything. It made me question my position. Because at that time, I was still kind of a neocon. I mean, at that time, I realized, okay, Iraq war bad. We shouldn't have done that. But I also still had that. I had a lot of pro-Israel sentiment in me, kind of, sort of. And I still had this belief that we should support American soldiers. And I mean, that bullshit was still there. There was a residue of that was still lingering in my mind. And of course, if Israel bombed Gaza, I would have supported it, because Israel's great, right? That was my mentality. But seeing that, even though it's a video game, it was so realistic, but just seeing that and seeing how these people in the game are incinerated by white phosphorus, and you see the mother clinging onto the child, it fucked with my head so much. And I thought, oh my god, holy shit. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, if I had to hit a button and I knew that was going to happen, I wouldn't want to. It just messed with me so much. And you look at the mother and the child burned alive, and you see the mom, wrapped around, her, embracing her child, and the child is clinging onto the mom, and your character sees this, and he's traumatized. He's automatically traumatized, and he's thinking, oh my god, what have I done? And then he looks down, and he sees one of the rogue soldiers that he was supposed to incinerate, and the rogue soldier is on the floor, and he's half dead. And with whatever life that was in him, whatever life that was left in him, he looks at your character and he says, we were trying to protect them. And then he dies. And it's, oh my gosh, dude. Holy shit, that messed with my head. It messed with my head so much. And I remember turning off the game that night thinking, what the hell am I supporting? What's going on here? And it makes you wonder, and it made you wonder, Gaza. It made you think about Gaza. It made you think about these types of things.